What made you lose respect for someone? When she revealed she was a TERF. You know who I'm talking about. 20-something friend of family asked me to hack her boyfriend's email account to see if he was cheating. Nope. I had an aunt that I idolized growing up. I loved being around her and visiting her in the city. She was always supportive of me and would encourage me to go for what I wanted in life. A few years ago I came to her for advice about my husband who I had caught cheating, again. She commiserated with me and expressed her condolences but really encouraged me to work things out and stay with him. Christmas of 2019 I found out he was cheating on me, again, and decided that I didn't want to be in the marriage anymore. We agreed to keep things between us for a little while, but I later found out that he had decided to go and tell my aunt and her spouse. She didn't reach out to me to see how I was doing or coping with everything. When I found out that she knew I had approached her and she said that she wasn't taking sides. She then proceeded to question me on why we couldn't work through our communication issues. Apparently that's what my ex told her is the reason why I left him. I explained to her what had really happened. I brought up the fact that I had come to her in the past because he had done this before and it was an issue through our entire relationship. At the end of our talk she was back to her supportive self, said that hearing my side of the story changes things and that she would always be there for me. A couple weeks later I found out from another family member that she had been spreading lies about me, telling them that I was the one that cheated and making up bunch of stuff that I was supposedly trying to claim in the divorce. There's no doubt that this information was coming from my ex, but I expect that from him. I really didn't expect that my family member would perpetuate these lies for him. At the end of the day, family never mattered. Attention from a younger man that brings her coffee is all she cares about. I'm grateful to have seen everyone's true colors. Long story short, funny YouTuber turned pedo. Also I heard that they were from one of their friend you made a vid on it. When I was 20 my father asked me to come by his house to sign some paper he needed my signature on. I was living nearby with my soon-to-be husband. I get to his place and he very quickly gets this paper out and tells me where to sign it, states something about taxes and quickly puts it away once he has my signature. He's my dad and I trusted him to do the right thing for me. It turns out it was a legal document his lawyer had written up basically giving away my share of the house that my mother willed to me before she died 6 months previously. My dad cheated me out of my inheritance from my mother. My mother also left me cash. I found out after I got back from my honeymoon, that the expenses for the wedding came out of that money. My father was in charge of that money until I turned 21 or got married. Oh, and he is not poor. It's not like he was hurting for money. He was just a greedy asshole. I went through a lot of tough times financially for years after that and he never once offered to help. Needless to say, I did not attend his funeral 2 years ago. No tears were shed, good riddance. Found out they were racist. When I realized he had a girlfriend and even though he said he loved me he never broke up with her. I realized that he never did love me and never will, so I called it quits. He lied to me about our connection for 10 years about how great it was. I realized he had just groomed me and led me on. He's now 25, I'm 22. We met when I was 12 and he was 15. We dated from just turning 18 and on and off till I was 22. When I saw that pic of them together I felt like everything he had ever said was just lies. I still suffer from trauma from that relationship till this day. Luckily I have an amazing reel now and he didn't get in the way of that. I lost all respect for him. Ketchup on steak. My dad is transphobic and homophobic, and racist. My mom is kinda transphobic and homophobic. But if one of my siblings came to my mom, she would understand, hopefully. My roommate talks down about his colleagues as though it'll impress me that he is in a better role. My discipline teacher wants me to respect him, but does not respect me. So now I just don't care about him. Finding out someone is an anti-vaxxer is the quickest way for me to think they are a selfish idiot and to lose all respect I had for them. I hate the anti-vax movement with a burning passion. He straight up switched career mid-30s to become a cop. I never knew lurking inside him was a bastard wanting to get out. Calling themselves a Redditor. When you set a boundary with someone and they keep trying to overstep and claim to forget you didn't like it. An entire group of friends covering for a girl cheating. And then me telling the guy, only to be given a skeptical response. He discovered she was cheating during Easter this year when he drove down from interstate. Ha. That same girl gave $20,000 she borrowed from that guy to another guy she was infatuated with. He still believes till this day it was a failed investment, despite several people telling him the truth. It's sad really. They told me they were a Republican. When my brother came out as gay, one of my former friends said if you end up FG like him, I'll have to punch you. The cunt is lucky I didn't punch him then and there for talking shit about my brother like that. He plays Fortnite. My dad left me when I was a child. I don't think there is a single thing that can make me not hate him. When he apologized to the CCP for saying Taiwan was a country. Found out my parents and younger sister are all full-blown QAnon conspiracy theorists. My sister got a Saint QRM bumper sticker. They don't bring it up around me, but as soon as it rubs off onto my kids, game over. Trump supporter. TW, self-harm. This was years ago when I was like 13, 14. I didn't know anything really about mental health at the time but had terrible anxiety attacks for a stint that came to a head with one of my worst attacks. I guess I blacked out during it and started trying to rub away the skin on my wrist with a dull pair of school scissors. I luckily came to before I bled, but I confided in my boyfriend at the time about it. The mark was easily hideable under my watch, so he was the only one who knew. One day we're at dinner with friends, and for no real reason he slyly mocked me cutting my wrist at the table where nobody else saw. Making a face and everything. With no hesitation I ran to the bathroom to cry. Nobody actually knows this ever happened. Unfortunately I stayed with him for years after. There's more stories. I had a friend I made in 3rd grade, and they seemed extremely nice to me when I still was friends with them. Recently, my grandpa tragically passed away due to corona, so I went to them to comfort me. I called them, and they said that I was overreacting and faking it, and lectured me about how coronavirus was a hoax and everything else COVID-19 non-believers say. I simply told him that I didn't deserve to be friends with him. I hung up and blocked his number. The sad part was that he never really talked about that stuff, and we were actually planning to meet each other soon. Don't worry, I already have my vaccine. Probably when I found out Bill Cosby did the rapes I lost some respect for him. A friend's daughter. When I met her she was a good and kind girl. Now she's a total racist because when she discovered K-pop she realized how poor and brown our people are. She always posts on her socials how much she wishes to marry a South Korean and move there. Also she claims to have only Asian friends and obviously she doesn't speak to me or, as she says, to any other Latino guy. Last time I ever spoke to her I told her that her comments towards our people were borderline racist but she doesn't see it that way and since then we haven't spoken to each other. Trump supporter. Never examines source materials for forming opinions. Done. The owner of my last job was my old wrestling coach. The guy always believed in me, even though I sucked ass and I really looked up to him. He opened a restaurant near me and I got a job there immediately. Holy crap, I did not get paid enough as a server. Open hours weren't even posted on the door. Everything was always a mess. A lot of the time it was only the cook and me, a tiny girl. No manager in sight. I've seen my old coach maybe 3 times in 5 months. But the straw that broke the camel's back was when a regular accused me of fucking up his check. Which I didn't, and the manager was there to defend me. This guy was a creepy, nasty old guy. He screamed racist, sexist and many more obscenities at me while he refuses to see reason. I go home scared shitless, planning on quitting the next day because I honestly didn't think they'd kick him out but I found out the next day they did so I stayed. Which lasted 2 days. I quit that following Thursday, right before a huge event, and had the owner begging me to come back, claiming he didn't know the manager let this asshole back. I have lost all respect for my former coach. It's so sad too. I let my friend stay in my apartment when away on vacation. She ran up $300 in phone calls, flooded the apartment, broke a necklace I made in kindergarten, and stole my clothes. She thought I would never find out.